Hey guys, it's your boy Progress, and welcome to a brand new video. If you want to go and follow or contact me on my other social medias, I've got my Twitter and Instagram on screen right now, so if you want to go and check those out, then go ahead. But let's get into today's video. This video was recommended to me probably more than any other video that I have done in the past. You guys were messaging me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube comments, the community tab, just absolutely everywhere over the last few months asking me to finally make a video on Clever, and don't worry, I have been researching, and that is what I present you today. For those of you who don't know, Clever is a rapper from Alabama in the United States who is actually 34, and is best known recently for his songs with Juice WRLD and NLE Choppa, but there is a lot more to him than that. So today, I will be talking about how Clever might be an industry plant. For those of you who don't know what an industry plant is, basically it's an artist who is signed to or being backed by a label or industry connection, but before this point was virtually unknown. The label also often dumps tons of money and connections into this person to ensure their growth, and to also make sure that the music they are creating sounds near perfect or is very, very good. So they often give them some of the best producers or sound engineers that they can offer. In super extreme cases though, they can be manufactured all the way down to what the artist's style is, whether that be artistic or even their clothing sense. But more often than not, they're attempting to ride a certain wave or trying to steal somebody else's style and replicate that and act as if it's their own. So let's start this off with what Clever has been up to in the last about half year, just to be able to catch you guys up on why people may think he's an industry plant. Firstly is that Clever only had one song up on November 12th, 2018 before he ended up being on Juice WRLD's album on March 8th of 2019. It should be known that before featuring on Juice's album, Clever was basically unknown to the general public, so people found it strange that Clever was apparently just found by Juice WRLD while he was listening to his music on his jet in January, and then out of nowhere he ends up being on Juice's next album soon after. Something that's also pretty suspicious is that Clever didn't even make his current YouTube channel until the day his song with Juice WRLD came out. It's also pretty weird to just not have an account, especially if you're supposed to be somebody who is a developed artist already, because you'd at least think you'd have some videos or music videos on the channel that you would have built up over the years, especially when he's already posted snippets for other music videos that he was working on. Another common thing plants do is either have botted Instagram accounts or they delete everything past a certain point so you can't see their growth as an artist. Clever's gone back and deleted everything since before September 4th of 2018, leaving up only music video snippets from that point all the way up until, of course, his song with Juice WRLD came out. We also know that his account has been around for much longer than that, as records go as far back as even 2017, and probably even further, as they show he at one point had 400 uploads on the account. Something that also leads me to believe that he was planted is that even before his song with Juice WRLD had come out yet, he was already flexing off how many of these massive artists, producers, and comedians were trying to message him or call him. People being like Quavo, Timbaland, Lil Skies, Haha Davis, and many others. And I don't know about you guys, but it seems a little suspicious to have somebody virtually unknown have all of these massive artists and producers, comedians, and everything trying to contact him all around the same period of time. There's also a little theory of mine that suggests that Clever could possibly be pretty fake, or at least everything he does is forced. I like the style of music he's making today, his aesthetic, and much more. So to prove this, we need to go back into Clever's past, which he has actually made pretty easy because he's left quite the footprint on the internet. Clever's been releasing music since at least April 8th of 2013, but I definitely think he's actually been doing it longer, as you can find an article all the way back from 2006 talking about how he was participating in a BET freestyle competition. The big thing to see though is what type of music he used to make. We know that he's been just rapping since he was 13, and based off of other YouTube channels that I found, one being called Clever from 2011 with just over 3,000 subscribers, and another being Clever Vivo from 2013 with just over 300 subscribers. He's been doing lyrical rap for basically his entire career. Not the current singing melodic emo rap that you hear him doing today. Even all the way up to May 8th of 2016, you can find a snippet of a song on his Facebook page where it's just basically a lyrical rap with just a tiny part where he's trying to do a singing part, but it's very obvious he was nowhere near the skill level he is with singing today. All this culminates to meaning that Clever was doing lyrical rap for 19 years, and then out of nowhere decided to start singing, and then even more so overhauled once again into doing his melodic emo rap style. Even going now into more of the current times, there's even posts that very much suggest that Clever was preparing himself to be planted, as he talks about that he is getting ready to fly out to LA. When he goes to LA then, just a few days after that, he says that everyone's gonna be on his music in 6 months. Then a day later, he's flexing off a $250,000 watch, saying that he now has $500,000. And then about a week after he posted the watch video, he also announced an album. And for those of you who don't know, albums are usually part of the criteria and have to be out within a certain amount of time after getting signed, or you have a contract that says a certain amount of albums have to come out every year. So there's a very good chance he got signed. I can't be the only person who sees that when he went for that trip to LA, it very much seems like he signed a label deal, but yet nowhere, even on Spotify's crediting section, do you see a label listed. The other thing out there that a lot of people seem to be trying to say is that Clever has some massively original voice, or that no one is doing what he's doing, but I really beg to differ, because when you look at it, he kinda just has the same sound that somebody like Post Malone mixed with a little bit of Juice WRLD or Young Pinch has. It's really not something all that crazy. I'm in no way saying he's not a great musician. I'm more so just saying that it feels like he's trying to fit a mold rather than being himself, because even the lyrics are just super bland, with it just being about girls, money, drugs, guns. You know, we've already heard that type of stuff before. It's not something you haven't heard. There's something I'd also like to bring up, because it plays into what Clever's character is quite a bit in how it confuses me. Clever has a pretty harsh criminal history. How harsh? Well, he's got 2 felony charges for first-degree burglary, a misdemeanor for violating a domestic violence protection order, a misdemeanor for third-degree assault, and worst of them all, a Class B felony charge for making an explosive device. I'll let it be known that all of these happened in the same year, which was 2012, which is obviously 7 years ago, but he was 26 and then 27 when he committed these crimes, so I refuse to just give him the "but he was young" pass. Why did I bring this up? Well, it's because it confuses me. If you go back to this 2006 article that I showed earlier, they actually did a part where they talked to Clever about his music, where he was talking about saying that he was not at all for violence, and that he wants his music to barely have swearing in it because it's supposed to be about Christianity, politics, and emotions. There's even this part here where he says, quote, "I am not for violence. Things can be settled in other ways than reaching for a gun." End quote. But yet just 6 years later, he would be arrested for all of the charges mentioned from 2012. Then just barely a year after his final arrest, he came out with a song called "Nobody Can Save You," with the hook saying, quote, "I just want to kill people for a living." End quote. I know a lot of people would say that you need to separate the art from the artist, but when just barely a year prior, the artist was arrested for trying to make a bomb that would harm people, and then he makes a song talking about harming people, it's very difficult to separate that. To make things even weirder, in 2015, Clever made a song talking about how labels would probably want him to make songs about violence, guns, and drugs and stuff, but that wasn't him, so that he just wasn't gonna make things like that.
Buy me a nice watch and a brand new outfit, and find me a beautiful model type chick to pretend I'm going out with, and just smile for the camera, and just pose for the picture. Forget who I am, forget who I was, as long as they see me as a public figure.
But yet, here we are in 2019 where he is making songs exactly about those things. He also still does this really weird thing where he flip-flops between very aggressive and strange on his social media, but then going back to acting more religious and talking about Bible stuff or God. I brought this up as well because I think it's important to look over who these labels and industry people are trying to convert into stars and sell to the masses. If he did end up changing, then I am so happy for him, and I really hope that he does stay with not harming anybody, because that's obviously all we can hope for. But yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up because it was one of the stranger things I found while making this video. One last thing that I do want to add in here though is that Clever is obviously very talented. He's been doing it forever, so you'd hope he would be, but the issue is more so that the growth behind it is just not that natural. We know that he's been doing this forever, but it's obvious that nothing really ever took off for him. And now it seems like he had to change a lot of who he was just to even be able to get signed in the first place, and that is where the problems come from, is that aspect right there. If you want a more in-depth explanation as to why industry plants are a bad thing for the music industry, you can go and watch my video that explains that exact concept. But yeah, I think that's probably going to be it for today's video, and I really hope that you learned something from this. Also, I do know that my friend Patrick CC made a video talking about Clever about 3 months ago now, I believe, so if you want to go and check that out as well, then you can definitely do that. I just wanted to make this video because obviously it interested me a lot. One, because this is one of the most open book pasts and histories that we've had on any artist ever. So it was really interesting getting to actually go in and see what these people were like. And also, of course, this series is supposed to be dedicated to documenting industry plants on my channel, so I thought he was an industry plant, so I documented it. But yeah, massive shout out to this month's patrons. Thank you guys all so much, and special thanks to the $10 and up patrons from this month. That being Scrubby, Tazir, Medusa Lives, Tex, Marshall Milano, Mercedes Mayfield, Pithos, and Farsky. Thank you guys all so much. With all of your donations that you've made, I finally was able to get an upgrade to my equipment for my audio setup, so now I'll be able to make even better content for you guys, and also the donations help towards paying for my editing software every month, and that is the stuff that I'm able to make these videos with in the first place. So thank you guys so much. It honestly means the world to me. If you guys do want to donate to my Patreon to help support the channel directly, then you can go into the link in the description that is there and check out if there's any of the reward tiers that you find interesting. But yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope I see you in the next video. But yeah, goodbye.